is the role of education in a changing world. Second is the importance of international learning. And third is the process of connecting what we know to what we do, so that the next generation will be able to clean up the mess that my generation is leaving behind. To provide context, I should point out that I was once a college student myself. I attended Wellesley, which, as some of you may know, is a women's school in Massachusetts. And this was some years ago, about halfway between the invention of the handheld BlackBerry and the discovery of fire. The world then was a bit different. The pace wasn't so fast. In those days, our phones still had cords, and our mail still had stamps, and our cameras still had film. And when we wanted to find the web, we didn't click on a mouse, we dusted in the corner. The Wellesley of that era was shaped by tradition, and the undergraduates were each required to wear a colored beanie to show whether we were freshmen or seniors or something in between. And back then, the first-year students had to pose for what was called a posture picture to see whether we had, and I quote, an understanding of good body alignment and the ability to stand well. The thing is that, believe me on this, that we were not allowed to wear any clothing above the waist. And they actually graded the pictures, and if we flunked, they made us do exercises. And I always wondered what happened to all those pictures. Until a few years ago, they were discovered in a vault at Yale. In another tradition, Wellesley seniors were expected to compete in a hoop rolling contest, and the student who won was supposed to have the best chance at an early marriage. And this was thought to be the highest aspiration of young women that we could possibly have, to get married immediately after graduation. So personally, I had a much more modern and enlightened attitude. After receiving my diploma, I didn't get married for 3 days. Looking back, I shudder at the chauvinism of the era, but I also admit to some nostalgia, for this was a time of relative innocence. The world was divided in ways that everyone could understand. We saw clear distinctions between the global good guys, that would be us, and the bad guys, the communists. We were taught to respect our political leaders, and the fact is that most of us did. Of course, we were not in there in the 60s. We saw history, we had faith in the future, and we saw history as a steady upward arc, and felt that every problem could eventually be solved by the energy of our people and the brilliance of our scientists. For example, a few weeks after I graduated, Vice President Richard Nixon won praise for confronting the premier of the Soviet Union in Moscow during what came to be known as the kitchen debate. Nixon claimed that the United States would almost certainly win the Cold War, and to prove the point, he cited the high quality of our household appliances. I was a member of the class of 1959, and the class of 2009 will not find the world quite so simple. Instead of two huge power blocks, the globe is divided now into multiple centers of influence, each overlapping others, and most in a constant state of flux. The United Nations and other multilateral organizations have weakened, and the credibility of the United States has been tarnished. And the result is a lack of gravity at the center of the global system. Meanwhile, technology has become a decidedly mixed blessing. If used wisely, it could help us to realize our most uplifting dreams. If not, it could destroy us all. We often tend to think of education as the remedy for every challenge, but the fact is that education, too, can be a mixed blessing. Here at Elon, students are taught to have respect for human differences and to abide by an ethic of work and service. But if we look around our planet today, we can see that in some regions, education is more akin to brainwashing. Many young people are taught to see the modern world as hostile to their values and dangerous to their faith, and they're told to place little value on earthly life and to equate murder with martyrdom. In other places, the young are asked to nurture ancient grievances, to believe that honor can only be won by refighting old battles, and that the globe is divided between us and them. Many millions more are barely educated at all and growing up with little knowledge of events around them and without the skills required either to contribute to their communities or to compete in the economy. Part of the problem is that education is all about the search for truth, and there are many varieties of truth. In mathematics and science, knowledge accumulates. We learn that the Earth revolves around the sun and that water is composed of oxygen and hydrogen, and we memorize the formula for calculating the area of a circle, and through experiments and research steadily add to our understanding of the laws of biology, chemistry, and physics. We are, in this sense, far wiser about how the world works than earlier generations. In the arena of global politics, however, I'm not sure we are any smarter now than we have ever been. The 20th century was the bloodiest in human history. When the new millennium came, we vowed to make a fresh start, but we have not begun very well.